What's going on, YouTube? The name is Captain Crush, and I'm going to talk to you about 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4, maybe 5 must-plays that you need to have in all your contests on PrizePicks, Chalkboard, Sleeper, Underdog, the lot of them. If you're new to my channel, this is what I do. My goal is to make you a better DFS, stands for Daily Fantasy Sports Player, which is what these applications allow us to do on a daily basis. So with that in mind, buckle up, grab a snack, and listen to what I have to say, because I'm coming with heat. You can bet your bottom dollar I'm coming with the heat today, buddy. So, we've had better days on a Monday night, but we get 2 NBA games and we have 1 NFL game to discuss. Yesterday was a day of biblical proportions for me and my fellow brothers in Christ that attend the Discord. We swept the late game, crushed the main slate. It was a beautiful thing, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't shout me and everyone else out in the winning slip section. I mean, it's literally just building a wall of green day after day, night after night. It was absolutely insane. Literally, when the list sweeps, everybody has a chance to win. And when I post my slips, which I did, and they all hit, that ended up hitting, that hit, and everybody decided to tail me yesterday because they finally are figuring it out. It's always going to be a good day. So that's a shout out. Everyone wanted a shout out. It's a multi shout out for the boys in the Discord. Appreciate you guys. For the ones that sent me some bonus tips on Cash App, I'm going to use that for a giveaway later. I appreciate you guys too. It was like 4 or 5 of you guys are the real ones. You're the real heroes. And if you want to join the team where you get my playlist, model projections, and everything else that you can decide, including live streams, you go to CaptainCrush.net, get in the gold package. That will give you full access. And you too can be a part of the wins when we sweep. So without that out of the way, with my plug and shout outs and my victory lap, because I victory lapped a lot of them, yes. I'm telling you right now, buddy, I called my shot and it was a home run. Biblical proportions. That's just what we do around some days anyways. Other days we eat chalk, but we won't talk about those days. So what do we got today? Well, I put out some stuff last night. If you're already there, you know, but everything has been bumped up because PrizePicks is coming back for their coin with vengeance. So what can we do? We have 2 massive point total games in NBA today. 236 and the other one I think is 242. So you know we're attacking overs. I'm not touching unders today, so it's going to be over season. I hope these games don't get ugly, but the first man that I'm going to discuss, we're going to fantasy scores because that's what I'm going to focus on for this video. It's bang! Jaylen Brown, 37 fantasy score. Listen, I got him projected for 42. As we can see here, I got him projected for 42.25 and 27 real points. So you automatically know that Jaylen Brown is going to be in play, my friends. I'm taking that 37 fantasy score. It's a big differential. Again, we have to dig in the dumpster because there's only a 2-game slate. So we go to the captain's handy dandy notepad. And what do we got? Jaylen Brown, 1.06 fantasy points per minute with a whopper 28% usage rate. You love to see it. Everything's going to check out, assuming he plays 35 minutes. If he doesn't play 35 minutes, well, chalk it up. But we can take his points as well. If you're not interested in his fantasy score because he's Jaylen Brown, I totally get it. You can take his points. He's in a pace-up spot. He's in an elite matchup. There's injuries on the Boston side, so his usage rate's going to increase. These 2 are totally in play, 100% in play. I love Derek White. He's my favorite Celtic today, but as you can see, they don't have his fantasy score on the board because they're scared. If they put Derek White's fantasy score up on the board and it's between 29 and 30, my friend, Alaskan pipeline style, put it into your veins because it's hitting 19 or 29 to 30. You attack it. If you can find it on Underdog, salute. You have my blessing. Put it in the mix. And remember, whenever I tell you guys something like this, whenever I go on a minute rant of one guy and I tell you to put it in your pipeline, your veins, it's hitting 85% of the time. Cortland Sutton, I went on a rant on December 2nd. My last video out, I went on a rant about Cortland Sutton and Nico Collins. The touchdown props, their fantasy scores, cash it all. And if you don't believe me, go back and look or check the Twitter. When I I tell you these things, I'm not saying it for my own good because I already know these things. I'm saying it to help you guys out and give you guys an edge. I already know these things, my friends. I'm trying to help you guys do God's work. Help me help you, as they would say. So, last time I'm going to say it. If you can find Derek White's fantasy score at 29 or 30, you take it. If it's anything higher than that, leave me a comment below and I will address it directly. But 29 or 30, my friend, against the Indiana Pacers, inject it into your vein. Now let's move on. By the way, caveat, there's other props that I like for White, which I posted last night, but they bumped him up today, so you have to be in the cord to see those. Now let's move on. And with that, I will say everything that I put out was bumped yesterday, which is why I'm focusing on these fantasy scores. Now for this Pelican game, we're going right back to the Heartbreak Kid, and I ain't talking Shawn Michaels. I'm talking Brandon Ingram, the hobo incarnate himself. Look at this guy. He looks like he's just coming to take my coin. Buddy, my brother, I'm telling you, I need you to go out there, shoot 22 to 23 shots, and I need you to find your shot because I got him over 21 points. It's now been bumped to 22 and a half. I took his PRA. It's now been bumped as well. So the only thing left for Captain Crush to attack is his fantasy score. Do I like it? I don't really love it, but my projection model loves it. I don't know why. I don't ask questions, but here we go. Where are we at? Brandon Ingram, 45 fantasy point projection. And let me go to my crispy notepad. 1.15 fantasy points per minute and a 29% usage rate for Brandon Ingram. Listen, I know he's been selling the bag lately. He had that big game against Chicago, but when we were on him, it was against Philly, the Spurs, and Utah. Listen, if he shows up and he decides to play, he's going to go over this fantasy score. Hopefully even his real points because I have that, but I don't advise taking it at the bumped line. But Brandon Ingram is the guy that can either win you all the coin or cost you all the coin. That's just his MO. That's just what the hobo incarnate lives to do. And that is what we're here for. We live for the sweat, win, lose, or draw, baby. So don't get your little band lists in a bunch. Go right back to Brandon Ingram and don't feel bad about it. I'm taking it at 36.5 fantasy score. It's a 10-point differential from my model. I'm not passing it up. If he sells me, he sells me. Bankroll management, my friends. That is the key. If he sells you one night, who gives a crud? I'm asking you, who cares? If he comes out here tonight and sells you, who cares? If he goes out there the next night and gives you a W, do you really care about the day before? Use your brains and miss me with this band list nonsense that 99% of you guys have in your heads, because I see it on Twitter. That's the wrong way to look at it. It's called being results oriented, and you're focused on one individual day instead of the long run, and you're never, I don't care what list sweeps, what Discord, what live stream, what model projection, if you can't get these fundamentals right, you're never going to win coin, okay? It's that simple. You just won't win because you don't know how to think like a winner, okay? Winners win and losers cry and complain and make band lists. Remember that. And as one of the greats would say, nobody cares, work harder. That's it, okay? That's my rant for Ingram. Again, if he sells, he sells. By God in heaven, he sells. It's just how it goes. We live for this. Now let's move on to the other side of that coin, the Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox, baby, 44 fantasy score. Now, if you somehow in some way can find De'Aaron Fox at 5.5 assists, you attack it. Every line I saw yesterday, it was at 6, then now it's at 6.5. I took his points assist at 33.5. It's now been moved to 34. So I'm going to go over to his fantasy score at 44. And here's the deal. Fox has a 1.4 fantasy point per minute with a crazy banger of a usage rate at 33%. 33% usage rate. Cap, what's a usage rate? It means how many times is he going to have the ball in his hand, quantified into a number. And I'm telling you, Fox is going to have the ball in his hands every possession. So De'Aaron Fox, you just made the list. 44 fantasy score. He's been a wagon. 65, 49, 54, 63. Last time he played the Pelicans, he put up a stinker, but that's okay. We don't care about that. High point total, great matchup. I'm taking De'Aaron Fox. And again, if he sells, he sells. And for those of you that hate when I say that because you're like, oh, you're saying if he sells you, what do you want to lose? No, bankroll management. That's all I have to say. I don't care if I lose tonight. I'll crush tomorrow, just like I did yesterday. Ship it all. And the last NBA player that I'm going to discuss is the other heartbreak kid, Jonas Valanciunas. Oh my goodness. It goes like this, folks. Jonas Valanciunas, Ivica Zubac. They're literally two from the same coin. They both can crush, but they both have a tendency to just lose minutes out of nowhere. Zubac the other night, 23 minutes for no reason. Didn't play the fourth quarter, hooked by 0.1 of a fraction of a point, 0.1. Unless you got the bump down at 27, then he cashed for you. But now we got Jonas Valanciunas at 29.5 fantasy score, and I'm pretty sure I got him projected all the way for 35. But is he going to play 30 minutes? All my projections are done assuming they play at least 30 to 34 minutes. That is how I roll. So you take his fantasy point per minute, you multiply it times the minutes played, and that is how you come up with that. So where do we go? Jonas Valanciunas, where you at? 1.22 fantasy points per minute with a 19% usage rate. This is 100% in play, but it's going to be scary. It just is. It's going to be scary. It always is. But I would be amiss if I didn't mention the big man on this slate in this matchup. So Jonas, you just made the list. Now, I know I said he was the last guy I was going to talk about, but truth be told, Tyrese Halliburton, I would be amiss if I didn't mention you, buddy. You're the king of kings when it comes to assists right now. Tyrese Halliburton, 49.5 fantasy score. It's in play, okay? It's a massive point total. I'm taking Brown. I'm taking White. I want to run it back with one of these Pacers, and the only one that made sense for me was Tyrese Halliburton. I'm not sure if I'm going to take his fantasy score. I'm really not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to take his points plus assist or his fantasy score or maybe even just his assist. I'll have to wait and see, which means you, the viewer, need to attend the live stream. And remember, you get into the live streams by going to CaptainCrush.net and getting in the gold package. That's simple, buddy. We crush those live streams. So don't forget about old Tyrese. He's in the mix. Now, we have a Monday night showdown. How about last night, folks? How about last night, baby? What a game it was. It was an amazing game. We finally got a good primetime game. Jordan Love stepped into his own last night and literally shredded those Chiefs. You love to see it. He's my season-long quarterback. I had all the overs on Jordan Love last night. Pass attempts, fantasy score, pass yards. Cash it all, baby, because he respects the freaking coin. Jordan Love respects coin. Put some respect on his name. I'm telling you, the kid's going places. And I was this close. I was 0.12 points away from shipping the showdown slate on DraftKings. All I needed was Wicks to get half a yard, one more yard on that catch. Maybe even bust a touchdown would have been elite. But it's okay. You still made like 4 or 5x on DraftKings. You love to see it. We had a sweat for first. Let's talk about Monday night. So, once again, everything I posted early has been bumped, but there's 2, maybe 3 plays that I'm going to talk about here. The first thing that I'm going to discuss is the kickers. Okay, this game could get ugly quick. Both of these teams haven't really been crushing lately, okay? The Jags are a solid team, but sometimes they just fall apart. I don't know why. It's probably because it's a poverty franchise. Now, the Bengals, they just haven't figured it out all year. They had the curse of paying Joe Burrow. He's been trash. Now he's injured. Then Chase got injured. The whole team's suffering, but tonight, maybe they figure it out. Doubtful, but maybe they do. Both of these kickers are going to be in play. Brandon McManus fantasy score and Evan McPherson. It could turn into one of those games. How many primetime games do we see where the kickers just score all the points and that's it? It happens all the time. So it's literally dealer's choice for you, the viewer. You choose your poison here. Both of these guys were in play. They're both mentioning. You could even take the field goal combo prop, which I think is going to be at 3.5. That's usually what it is. You could take a chance on that. I only recommend playing kickers on these primetime games with the low totals, okay? Now, both of these teams have elite weapons. I'm talking Ridley, Kirk, Chase, Ingram, Higgins, ETN, and Mixon. That is a great offensive cast of characters right there. I'm telling you, if that was a cartoon, it'd be balling in the mix. But the fact still remains, they got to play on a Monday night, and we know how that is. So, who do we target? Well, my first guy that I like, Trevor Lawrence. This isn't my favorite prop for him. I posted that in the cord, but it's been bumped. 17.5 fantasy score. I'm just going to take it. He's been vulturing ETN's goal line equity. He's been rushing in. He's been getting the green zone, which is between the 5-yard line and the end zone. He's been getting those rush yards and getting in the box box. He's done it multiple times. If he gets that tonight, it's 6, and then he can throw for 1, which is 4, gives him 10, and then he's only going to need to throw for about 200 yards to cash this. I like this play a lot. It'll be probably a staple in my lineups. The only way I see him not getting here is if he just plays terrible or a blowout ensues, which I'm not really worried about. Now, I say I'm not really worried about it, but it is a 9.5 point spread on a 39 point total in a primetime game. I guess maybe, you know what? Scratch that, folks. I am worried about it. I should be worried about it. Maybe you should take his first half. I don't know. But if this game blows out and I'm giving you overs, you can chalk all the overs because that's just how it is. It'll become under season really quick. The next guy that I want to talk about is Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase. Why? My oh my, have the mighty have fallen, and I dodged a bullet by not drafting you in my season long. Actually, maybe I took that bullet because I drafted Justin Jefferson and he hasn't been playing at all. But I'm still finding W's, baby. Yes, sir. Give me that W this week. Mr. Chow, you got beat. I'm coming for the playoffs, buddy. But that's neither here nor there. Jamar Chase. I've never seen this man at 12.5 fantasy score. It's egregious. This man is literally a stud. Now, I know he doesn't have Burrow throwing him the rock. I know he's got old Browning, and I know he's trash, and I get all that. But I'm just going to take my chances at 12.5. I liked his receiving yards, but again, they bumped it up. So I'm just going to go ahead and recommend you can either take his receiving yards or his fantasy score. He has to be considered. For the amount of talent this kid has, 12.5 fantasy score is just too low. And we see it all the time. Anything and everything can happen on these primetime games, okay? Look at DK Metcalf versus the Cowboys the other night. Everybody, myself included, thought that the Cowboys' defense was going to come out and run roughshod. And what happened? DK Metcalf, career night. It happens. Anything can happen. And if you're playing showdown slates, that is how you build your lineups. Prepare for the scenario that no one else is thinking about, and that is how you put yourself in a position to ship it all. And I'm talking a solo ship. Do what everyone else is afraid to do. Embrace the variance for showdown slates. It's one game. Anything can happen. So with that in mind, when I see Jamar Chase at 12.5 fantasy score, bang, I attack it, and I ask questions later. He can literally get 30 fantasy points anytime he steps onto the field, okay? And then my flyers, my dart throws would probably be Jake Browning's fantasy score or his passing yards, and then Christian Kirk at 11.5 fantasy. He's another one. Ridley's been stepping up to the plate, but Christian Kirk, he's a good guy. He literally can always come through for you. He can get catches, he can get touchdowns, and he can break tackles. Christian Kirk's fantasies in play. It's not my favorite. I liked his yards pre-bump, but I will say his fantasy score is in play. So with all that in mind, the plays talk is over. I'm just going to give a quick plug for myself, okay? Every single day I do projections for NBA just like this in my Discord, as you can see. Every stat. I also do NFL projections Monday, Thursday, and Sunday. I give you a full playlist, which looks like this. It gets sent to your phone. It's also in my Discord, and this is what it looks like. It's just a list of plays. Bang, 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 bang. All of these hit yesterday, so this was the sweep for the late game. All you had to do was tail that, and you would have shipped it all. It's part of my Dub Club Discord, which work hand in hand. I give you the projections. I also do live streams Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday as well. And as people in my own court say, it's literally the best value in the business. It's the best value from any Discord. Nobody else is doing a Discord like I do it. So with that in mind, I'm going to wrap this puppy up, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. One last thing that I'm going to say, folks, I started this YouTube journey. First I started TikTok, then I started YouTube. I started YouTube back in April, okay, maybe March of 2023, because I wanted to help people just like you, the working class man who doesn't need or have time to investigate everything. I wanted to streamline your process, but at the same time, teach you fundamentals to speed up your losing curve, because when you first start this, my brother in Christ, you're going to lose. That's just part of it. So if I can come in and speed up your learning ability and get you a process, a solid process, then my work and my job is done. And that is what I think I've done. I think I've done a pretty good job at that. And I'm telling you that because I put on my board to get to 10K by the end of the year. It was a pipe dream, and now it's about to come to pass. I'm I'm literally almost there, and I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. I continue to show up Monday through Friday, sometimes on Saturday, and do these YouTube videos for you, regardless of how many people watch, regardless of the hate in the comments. There's a few of you that will always be loyal and supportive, and you guys are the real heroes, and I appreciate you guys getting me to 10K, letting me live my dream. Here is the salute. I appreciate each and every one of you. Good luck in all your contests tonight, and my brothers in Christ, let's crush.